Hello and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. Today I'm going to be scrapbooking a 4x6 photo from my recent vacation to Cuba, and I'm going to be using a hip kit from 2021. Right now I am looking through the April hip kit from 2021, and it might be the May. I have the April, the May, and also the September, all of 2021 here. And this one has more of an Easter theme, and I thought that that bright blue paper might work for me. I'm basically looking for some papers that will coordinate nicely with that large amount of blue that's in the airport building. And so I'm going to go with this other hip kit. I think that this is the May hip kit, and I must have been doing some mixed media. This is a white piece of cardstock that's gessoed, and it has what looks like maybe the packaging technique with maybe some gelato. And so that was probably something that wasn't used on a former layout that I did. And so I'm just kind of thinking about using that because it picks up on that beautiful blue. And I'm also just kind of looking through any other papers that might have that blue in them. I don't want to be over the top blue because there's plenty of blue in the photo itself. I just want to kind of pick up on it. I'm also thinking about going for a very, very bright white layout because that's sort of the story that I'm trying to tell here, is about how we were blinded when we left the airplane. We went from the Canadian April weather to the beautiful scorching hot Cuba weather in April in a matter of just about 4 hours. So our systems were kind of shocked, and they always are. We have two other photos of us, kind of similar family selfies in front of the same airport from other trips that we took. So, oh no, we took two other trips to this airport. So yeah, this is the third in a series. And I might even do a now and then, kind of like a each year selfie in front of the airport kind of layout at some point. I think that might be fun as well. So I'm just having a look at the things that I love, those little peacocks. I have no reason to use them on this page, but I really love them. That's a Jen Hadfield sticker set from that same hip kit. And a lot of the things in this kit just don't go with the story that I'm trying to tell here. So I'm not going to use any of these embellishments really. Oh, I might use those. So those are from Paige Evans. They're these really beautiful layered banners. And so I'll keep those out. And then these, I'm not going to use them on this page, but I took them out to keep them aside because I might use them for something else. So I just put those outside of the kit. And then I'm trying to use this Studio Calico kit stamp. This came with the fairy tale stamp. And I already figured out that none of my punches will punch those circles out well, but I have two dies that will cut them out well. So I'm thinking I might use this stamp set to make an embellishment. I was just kind of messing around to figure out the sizing that I'd need to find a stamp or a die for them, just so that I could have that ready off screen and not have to kind of bumble around my scrap room looking for it. I do record real-time live versions of this for the people who follow me over on Patreon, so I didn't want to have too much of that included in this video. So here is my favorite place to buy Tombow refills. I was just sharing this with my Patreon members, and I thought I'd share it with everybody here. Penwa.com is my favorite place for getting Tombow tape runner refills because you can buy it in bulk and they have free shipping to Canada. This might not be the best deal if you're in the United States, but it certainly is the best deal if you're in Canada that I've been able to find. If you can find it for a better price, please let me know. But it comes down to $2.72, I think, for each one. If you buy, I'm buying 24 of them at a time at this point. And as it ships for free, and you can choose whether it ships out of Ottawa or out of Calgary, so that it'll get to you faster depending on where in the country you are. So that's good. I believe they have free shipping to America too. It's just they're based in America, so I'm guessing if they offer free shipping to us, they must offer free shipping to you too. So I think they're based in the US. I'm not sure. Anyhow, it's a pen shop, but I love them for their Tombow supplies. So as you can see, I just decided to matte my photo in white, and I'm thinking about matting it in this navy blue patterned paper. This is also from the Paige Evans collection. It's from, I don't know what collection it's called, but it's from Paige Evans from, well, last year. And as you can see, I don't quite have enough of this paper to fully matte this this photo, but what I'm going to do instead is I'll just make a giant photo corner. I thought about doing two, but I think I'll make it like this. And what this does is it's matting the most important part of the photo. So where we are the subjects of the photo, and so it's matting right where we are, providing a little bit of anchoring and I guess directing your eye to the most important part of the photo. So I'm thinking here about using this mixed media piece of paper that's already done from before as my background, but I'm also thinking about using this map paper. And this map paper is from the Buenos Dias collection from American Crafts. And I love this paper, and I don't travel a whole lot, so I think that this is a good opportunity to use this paper. If I don't use it on this page, it might sit in my stash for a very long time. So let's get it onto a scrapbook page, and we'll use that for my background paper. And here I am trying to I'm figuring out what is wrong here. I think that the way that I matted my photo with all of those patterned papers, it's not quite even. I do want to tear this even because I want that top piece to be even. I have an idea for how I'm going to use that top piece that I just tore off. And so I'm going to mat all of this over here. I'm going to tear this off. And what I'm actually going to do is wrap it around the outside edge of this layout. This is something I used to do back when I first started scrapbooking. I was always wrapping stuff around the edges of my 12 by 12 pages. I'm not sure why I liked doing that so much, but it was definitely my jam back then. I haven't done it in a long time, so I thought I would pull that little technique out again and use it. I'm kind of trying to revisit some old scrappy styles of my own from before. And it felt like that pattern paper was getting lost on the background, so I decided I would mat that pattern paper with more of this Paige Evans paper, which I'm really running low on. So you'll see me really kind of piece together a mat for this. And so I will... My first thought is I could just put it over here like this and then just leave that corner empty and maybe put an embellishment or something on it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to cut this strip, and then I just need to get myself a 90-degree angle here because the way that I was cutting it by hand, it wasn't there. That's right. And so I don't need that much of it, and since I seem to be using a lot of it, I thought I would just save what I could of this pattern. And it's easier to align it backwards like this, like on the back, and there we go. So the pattern doesn't match up exactly if you were looking really, really closely at it, but I don't think anybody's going to look that closely at it, so I think it's fine. And now I'm going to cut the designer strip off of this piece of paper from the Buenos Dias collection, and then I'm going to tear it into two pieces. One is bigger than the other. The big one will go on the bottom, and they're also off, like they're slightly not straight. And so they will be my top and bottom. This is another thing I used to do a lot. Like almost all of my layouts used to have a little ledge at the top and a little ledge at the bottom like this. I like that as a way to anchor different things that I might want to put in the top and bottom corners. I'm thinking I might sew back and forth where that paper wraps around, or I might use staples. I can't decide at this point which one I'll do, and it kind of depends on how much energy I have by the time I get to that point in the layout. So now I'm just outlining all of this paper. I find that outlining really brings a bunch of different pattern papers together, like it helps them look like they belong. And I'm just adding a couple of little hash marks and squigglies and dots and stuff around the edges just to make it look even more casual and doodly. And I'm going to also outline the edge of this. I'm just double outlining everything. It gives it a little bit more I guess, weight than a single line, and it also kind of covers your mistakes. Like it looks like it's supposed to be wonky when you've got two lines that are kind of crisscrossing each other. This is a beautiful paper. I've got distracted by how nice that paper was. It's not going to work on this page, but I'll keep it in mind for another page. Then I discovered that I had another strip of this, and I was so happy because I was wanting something dark to kind of put a strip on the top and on the bottom of this just to cap it off and give it some weight. And that the fact that I could use the same pattern paper that's elsewhere on the page just makes it so much easier for repetition and that sort of thing. And now I'm giving a bit of a demonstration here, more for my Patreons than anything else, but you'll get to see it as well. I'm just demonstrating the different kinds of glue pens you can get. These are all from Tombow. You can get most of these, I think, on the website that I showed at the beginning, but you can also get them at your regular craft stores. And so I have a bullet point, a chisel point, a ballpoint pen, which was the first one. And then I also have this big thick one that I like to use to restick my electronic die cut machine mats. You're not supposed to do that, but I do it anyways. You know, the manufacturer tells you not to do that, but I've never had a problem with it. So I'm just going to use those glue pens. I didn't have to take out all of those, but I thought since I'm taking out one, I just show that there are lots of different options when it comes to Zig 2-way glue pens. And those are made by Tombow. And gonna line this one as well. That pen, you saw me kind of change the tip on it. That one is really running out, and so this isn't gonna stick very well because it's just like the glue was not really liquidy enough. This is a 2-way pen, and what that means is that when it's wet, it's a permanent adhesive. So if you stick it down, if you stick two surfaces together when that glue is wet, they will be stuck permanently. But if you stick two surfaces together when you've allowed the glue to dry a little bit, then those things are temporarily adhered to one another. And so because it's running out, it's tacky already, basically. So it's not liquidy enough to be a permanent adhesive. Yeah. So as you see, I just kind of touched it up, and I'm going to have to touch it up again because I didn't do a good job. I wasn't really paying attention. But I like the structure of this layout. It is looking good. Now I have to think about title, journaling, and how I'm going to use these stamps. Spoiler alert, they're not going to make it to the page, but that's okay. So I'm just thinking, I often will tidy as I'm thinking. You know, you don't always, in these layouts, I never really have a sense of what exactly I'm doing. And so oftentimes I just have to kind of sit and percolate on an idea. I knew I wanted to use letter stickers and not like die cut stickers or not die cut letters or stamped letters. So I just went to my letter Rascog here, and I'm going to the second tier, which is where my colored alphabets are, as opposed to the top is my black and white. And then the bottom is multicolored. I took a quick look in the multicolored, but I knew I would want a nice dark navy blue font for this. And I took out more than I needed. I really think I'm going to want to use these dark blue ones. The font is called Twilight, and I want more of these because, as you can see, I'm running out of the letters, particularly the lowercase letters, and I adore these. I doubt that they still make these, but they're amazing. I have to find more of them because I think I had them in black and in navy blue, and I think the black ones are gone. But I just love these for a small title. They're nice and chunky and bold, but small. Like, I really like them. I am a sucker for foam letter stickers. I have these by Basic Gray, which are also a chunky, they're a nice thick chipboard, but I think I'm going to go with these foam ones because I love them. So at first I was thinking I would compose this title on wax paper, just like I used to back in the day. This is like a retro throwback process video, I think, without meaning to be. And so I'm going to spell out the title, Blinded by the Light. And so I'm using my thicker alignment tool here, and I'm just playing around with some different options for where I might want to put it. And then I'm going to put my subtitle in smaller letter stickers. I'm thinking possibly, and I really would like to put it either up there or down here in the corner. I think I'll put it down here in the corner. And then By the Light will be underneath in, let's say, tile letter stickers. So I grabbed my basket of tile letter stickers. I have all of these amazing October Afternoon letter stickers, which I adore. And I picked out these sticky keys only because they're navy blue, and it's going to be too much navy blue. What am I thinking? That's not going to work. It's too much navy blue. So I'm going to keep looking here. And I had it in my head that I really wanted tile letter stickers for my subtitle. Like not subtitle, but for the second half of my title. For the By the Light part. And so I'm pulling out black and white, even though I have no other black on this, like navy is my black on this page, so black and white letter stickers aren't going to look all that great. But then I found those Cosmo Cricut tiny type letters that are blue, like a navy blue. And then I'm going through here, and then I remember this Prima alphabet, which I really love. I've used it recently on one of my recent pages from the past couple of months. They come off the sheet really easily, so I'm just picking up any stray ones that came off. These are mixed media Prima letter stickers. They're like a canvas. They're very textured and beautiful. They're a yellow painted canvas letter sticker, and I adore them. I love how you can either leave the little cutouts from inside of the O's and D's and R's and whatnot. You can leave them in place for like a really blocky look, or you can poke them out if you want to. So I'm going to leave them in place because I like the blocky look. So I'm going to spell out By the Light with these. And I'm using just my centering ruler. And that's fine to use as your alignment tool. You don't have to get the American Crafts thicker alignment tool. It's just a nice, handy, flexible, really thin ruler. This is easier on a thin ruler than it is on a thick ruler. So I'm just using my centering ruler. I don't even know who makes that. I just looked it up and it says Zero Hero Centering Ruler, the See-Through Ruler Company. And it's by DejaViews.com. So I think I just picked it up at Michael's. But anyhow, I like it because it's thin, just like the thicker alignment tool. And as you can see, all of the little letters went flying when I took off, when I used the thicker alignment tool on my other thickers, but I put them back. It worked fine. And now what I'm going, because those are very low tack, that's why they keep falling off the back, right? They're not all that sticky. So I'm going to take this Zig glue pen and this is the ballpoint pen, and I'm just adding some liquid adhesive to the backs of all of those letters. And then I'm pressing them down, and whoops, the little E came with me. But other than that, that worked out fine. Just aligning them there. And I'm putting my thickers back in the package, although I'll take them out and I'm actually going to change the packaging because somehow, although I usually repackage all of my thickers when they come into my room, somehow this set did not get repackaged. I think I was going to repackage it the last time I used it, and I thought, well, they're almost gone, so maybe I'll just leave them in the original package. But I will repackage them a little bit later, and I think I do it on screen. What I'm doing here is I'm outlining those yellow letter stickers just to give them a little bit more presence on the page and increase their legibility a little bit. And that G was just not sticking, so I added some Tombow Mono Multi to that because that's very super strong glue. It's not going to go anywhere now. And I was just using my Prismacolor .005 pen for that. It's the tiniest tip pen that I have. I'm going to get rid of that packaging on those thickers. I just went over to my storage drawer where I keep all my storage bags and items, and I'm just going to place the branded strip at the top on the edge of my own 6 by 12 inch bag, and now these thickers will slide really easily in and out of that bag, and I don't have to contend with the crinkly packaging that flops all over the place. So I'm making a note that there are lots of good little extra bits in those thickers, so I might want to incorporate those in other places on the page, although I will forget and then I will remember, and you will see that process as well, because I leave all my process in. You just come for the ride and see it all. So I really like how that looks, and adding those little chevrons beside the blinded, that just adds a little bit of dynamic energy. I find arrows, chevrons, and stars are all things that add energy to pages. So I like to add those. I'm just going through my tags here. I keep this on my desk. It's just some 4x6 and 3x4-ish sized tags and journaling cards and that sort of thing that are not exactly Project Life. So I pulled out a few tags and stuff that I thought might go well with this page, including one white tag that will become my base for the other tags that I layer with it. And then I also had this really, really thin piece of journaling paper that came in a little pad that you might have seen me pull that piece off of. I'm going to use that up in the top corner, and it really conveniently tore such that it left the date area on, and I like how that looks. I'm going to trim this down a little bit, and this is adding a little bit of yellow to my page, which is perfect because those letter stickers were standing out as being a little bit, you know, one of the few things. There is yellow in the photo and there's yellow on the map, but I just wanted to emphasize yellow on this page. Now, that journaling card has a little built-in label that's just printed onto it. So I'm looking for some stamps, and I couldn't find anything until Jen Scow came to the rescue. This set is called Go With The Flow. And there were a couple on here that I thought I could use. I thought I could use Take a Breath or Love This Life of Mine. Either of those would work, and I decided to go with Take a Breath. I'm stamping it in Stampin' Up Night of Navy ink, and I'm stamping it 3 times. So it says, take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. There were 4 of us, so I could have stamped it 4 times, but from a design perspective, I liked it with 3, so I left it at that. This is going to be popping out from underneath of the layers, so I don't even really know exactly how much of this you're going to see, but I just wanted some of it. I was going to go with yellow twine, but I changed my mind. It felt like that was going to be just too much yellow, so I went with this beige and white twine instead. Something neutral. So I'm going to layer these 2 cards, and I don't want this one to just be blank lines. So I'm just doing some mock journaling here. I'm just saying, you know, were we here? Yeah, we're really here. It's great that we're here, or something like that. It's just basically nonsense words that if you saw part of it, it would kind of feel like, you know, it's about we're really here. That's about it. So I'm going to make that so that it's popping out of the edge of those layers, and then I just trimmed off the edge. And I like how that looks, and I didn't want to cover up too much of the map either. Now this was just not staying put, so I had to craft tacky this. This is Simon Says Stamp Craft Tacky Glue, which is a nice thick tacky glue that dries pretty fast. It's especially good for paper on paper, and it's good for paper on other things too. I just can't tell what. It's not good for everything. Like Tombow Mono Multi is good on everything. So yeah. I'm also using a new pen here today. This is a Bic marking pen. It followed me home from work, and so I thought I'd put it to use here in the scrap room. And it is a permanent marker. So it's taking the place of my Sharpie marker, my Sharpie ultra fine point marker, which took a walk and left me. So this is Tuxedo Black, and it's an ultra fine point. And so it'll do the trick on that tag, because that tag has a very shiny surface, and my Sharpie pen, which is not a Sharpie marker, the Sharpie pen was smearing on it. So now I had these leftovers from the bottom of the tags that I cut off, and I thought I could use them sticking out the bottom just to add a little bit of extra interest down here too. I felt like this part was just a little bit too boring. So I just want to adhere it in such a way that I don't want to cover up all of Australia. I like that the map is showing both above and below my layers. So I just positioned it so that you could see just the little tippy bottom of Australia. And I thought that that little tag with the yellow band across the bottom of it, the yellow chevron band, would provide a pretty good place for me to add a roller date stamp. And so I'm stamping out April 8th, 2022, just double stamping it. Again, I'm using that Night of Navy ink from Stampin' Up. And I got it all over my fingers somehow. It was on the ink pad, so when I touched the ink pad, it got all over the place. So I just keep a pack of baby wipes handy for these sorts of things. I tend to be pretty messy. So I tend to have ink on my fingers and not know it, and then I pick something up and then everything is a mess. So I'm trying to avoid that. Now here's that little bit of note paper that I tore off of that little stack. I don't know who makes it or where it came from, but it was in my stash for quite some time. And what I'm writing here is my actual journaling, not my faux journaling. So this says, stepping off the plane in Kayakoko is blinding and sweltering and amazing. You know, you go from the cold of Canada and you get on a plane and you're in there in air-conditioned kind of setting for 4 hours and you walk off and it's just like it envelops you. the humidity and the heat, and it's just amazing and we love it. So I'm going to glue that in place, but I'm going to make it look like it's either stapled or sewn. I haven't made up my mind yet what I'm going to do there. And I feel like it needs a little something else up here. So I grabbed this little scrap that's also from that tag that has the fake label on it. And I'm just going to put that little scrap through my little border punch. This is just a scallop border punch from EK Success. And because that paper is outlined every other place that it shows up, I'm going to outline it here. I don't love outlining scallops, but I wanted to, so I did. And I'm just going to align that like that, and it just gives a little bit more presence to that upper cluster there. That I often call that a secondary cluster to the two main ones, because it's usually smaller, the one that's up there. So now I have all these frames. I'd love to use this really fun one. It reminds me of a tropical vacation with those little pom-poms all over it, but it's too bulky to stick under the layers that I already have here, so I'm not going to use it. I'm trying to find something that, it felt like too much of the embellishments were only blue and yellow, and there's pink and a couple of other different shades of bluey greeny colors in that background map paper, and I just wanted to bring some of those colors from the background map paper into my other layers so that it looks more cohesive and pulled together. So this canvas frame, which I believe was from Maggie Holmes from many years ago, I had 2 or 3 sets of these frames and I used them all up except for this one last frame. So this is the last one that I have. I'm cutting a little flag out of this. It's basically canvas, like a printed canvas. And so I'm going to put a little piece up here in the corner, a flag in with my tags, and then I'm going to have the frame sticking out from under my layers right here. I thought for a second here that there might be an adhesive backing on this, but there isn't. The paper is disintegrating as I put my tape runner on it, but that's okay. It's gonna stick. I'm just pulling back my layers and tucking it underneath, and that just brings a little touch of color down there and another little touch of color up here. I want to cut a little flag, like a fishtail flag bottom on this, but I couldn't without detaching it from the page, so I'm going to do that right here. It's a little tricky to cut something so tiny, but and canvas too, but I managed to do it. I'll stick that in there like that, and now that's looking a little bit better. I've decided that I'm too tired to do any sewing, so I'm going to staple instead. So I'm stapling just where that paper wraps around the edge and also stapling up there. I was going to put a staple right here on the tag, but I decided not to. I didn't think I could get it in the place I wanted without doing too much deconstructing, and I didn't want to take too much apart right now. And also, I kind of like my staples to all go in the same direction on a page, and the other staples were all vertical, so I didn't want to do that. I'm just having a look at what other embellishments I have here that I might be able to add. And I don't really want to use that one. It's too big and bulky. I just thought about it for a second there. I like to just kind of try different things. You never know what's going to look good, surprisingly good on a page until you give it a try, right? So now I went into I keep stars, arrows, and hearts all in these sleeves. So sticker sheets that have those shapes on them, because these are kind of like iconic universal shapes that can go on pretty much any layout or project of any theme can use those kinds of shapes. And so I consider those my icon shapes and or iconic shapes. And so this is my star sleeve. And I pulled out some stars. As I mentioned before, chevrons, stars, and arrows just kind of add something to a page, a little bit extra energy. And I felt like the page itself didn't have as much energy as the photo had. So that's why I'm adding some stars here just to energize it a little bit. You know, a little bit of pow from my page. And yeah, so I'm putting just a little cluster of stars in each of my 3 clusters. And this I'm going to put here. I feel like this sticker actually really serves a purpose on this page other than just I wanted to use that sticker, because it covers up some of that navy blue paper that was showing that I think was weighting the photo down a little bit too much in that area. So that banner just covers that up a little bit. And I don't typically like to use words like that, like big words. That banner says wonderful, but it says it in a really light font. And so I don't feel like it competes with my, with my title as much as some stickers might. Now you see me here really struggling with my makeshift. I'm going to use some Heidi Swapp Color Shine here. And I'm going to mask off some areas first. You saw this is my makeshift splatter guard because I do scrapbook right beside my computer, and I don't necessarily want to get any more splatter on my computer because there is splatter on my computer. I can't get it off. And so I'm deciding a little bit late in the game to start masking and covering my computer from splatter. So, oops, I left because I couldn't get the lid off, and I had to go run it under hot water to loosen it. So as you can see, I'm just flicking it, and I'm making it so that the first couple of flicks happen off of the page because those are usually the biggest drops, and then after it drops on my little black foam there, then I'll really flick it onto the page. So just doing that in all 3 places where the embellishments are. I can see now that by using a black splatter guard, it keeps you from being able to actually see where the splatter is landing on the page. So I think what I might do is replace it with a white piece of foam board. The next time I'm at the dollar store, I'll pick up another white foam board so that you can see that a little bit better. Now, after I put on the gold Heidi Swapp Color Shine, I decided that let's add some white splatters as well. So I just got my little thing of gouache because I find that any of the splatter that I have that's mist, it doesn't dry properly, but gouache will dry properly. So I just added a little bit of water to it to make it splatterable. Is that a word? It is now. I made it splatterable by adding some white, and then I just used a fan brush to flick it all over my page. Now, in the process of doing so, I did get some splatter of both kinds on my foam letters. The nice thing about foam letters is that they are pretty forgiving. They're pretty absorbent, but you can get it off. I will show you. I didn't realize I hadn't changed my my angle, but basically I'm taking a bit of baby wipe and I'm sopping up all of the ink that landed on my letter stickers, and that's it. Just wicking it away and wiping it up. I'm also taking the splatter off of any of those stars because they're plastic. It comes off super easy. So I think I'm done. So I'm showing you the close-ups. I will show you this again and slow it down because I'm actually not done. So I even put up my end screens and everything, and then I realized, hang on a second, I was going to use some of those thicker pieces in other places on my layout. And I think that this adds quite a lot. I'm adding a geotag over here and those two little chevrons up in the corner. And I think that that just balances those three clusters out quite a bit better. I find that before I added those pieces, these two and then these two, it was too bottom heavy because of the blinded. It was very dark and kind of weighted down at the very, very bottom. And so adding some of those navy blue foam thickers to the tops really balanced this one out quite a bit better. So that was worth the extra 2 seconds of time to add those pieces. So before I share the photos, just a quick shout out to my Patreon supporters. These folks help make this channel happen, so big thanks to all of them. And thanks to you for watching all the way to the end. Here are the photos. And so I just included some close-ups so that you could see the texture of those beautiful Prima letter stickers compared to the foam thickers. So pretty. I love how all of these papers layer together and the canvas adds even more texture, and then those puffy stickers adds that kind of smoother plasticky kind of texture. So lots of great texture in this page. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, just leave me a comment below. Make sure you subscribe if you'd like to see more from me. Take care and have a really great scrappy week.